keep in contact enough because life goes on. If you ever had a stepbrother, it's as close as your real brothers. And it's the same deal. I got 3 real brothers, and I have a stepbrother that I'm really close to. Are you one of those that come from a broken home? That had a good real dad, but there was a split up for whatever reasons. I'm not going to get into my parents split up. Come here, girl. Yeah, you're a good girl. Because it doesn't matter anymore. That was a long time ago. But have you been fortunate enough, like I have been, to have such an awesome stepdad? Yeah, I love my real dad. Don't get me wrong. This is not to put my real dad down. But there's so many videos talking about broken families and how it's ruined their lives, etc. I count my blessings. I'm pretty blessed that way. You know, my real dad had a lot of shortcomings, but I knew he loved me. Well, there's a lot of stuff that pissed me off, but I knew he loved me. He was a real good dad. Had his shortcomings, but he was dad's just the same. But I was so fortunate that to have a stepdad like I had. My stepdad taught me the trade, construction. But not only did he teach me the trade of construction, he was the one that was there that taught me. I'm not going to say right from wrong, because my real dad, I learned a lot from him, right and wrong. But my stepdad was my mentor, the one that was in my life daily. It was because of circumstances beyond my real dad's control in some ways, but in some ways not. I know my real dad wanted to be that person in my life that was my mentor. And it was taken away from him, and maybe rightfully so. I don't know. I mean, we're not going to get into that. That's neither here nor there. What is here is my stepdad was my mentor in life, and he was the one that was there, regardless of the reasons. Oh, my stepdad had his downfalls too. He had his faults. So often, I hear about people telling about how horrible their stepdads were. And people like to dwell on that. But I think there's a lot more people out there that are like me that had great stepdads. And I want to give tribute to the great stepdads that are on out there. I don't think enough tribute is given to them. I'm not taking nothing away from my real dad. Nothing at all. But I hear so many stories about how their stepdad did this, how their stepdad did that. My stepdad is the one that taught me this trade. My real dad was a truck driver. My real dad had enough care about me to tell me Grizz, don't become a truck driver. It takes you away from home. You won't see your family. You don't want to be a truck driver. My dad cared enough. My stepdad, he was a carpenter, and a darn good one at that. And he taught me the trade. And I'll never be the carpenter that he was. I can't profess to be the carpenter that my dad was. But he was my mentor in life, not just in construction, of taking care of family and facing up to responsibilities. And I fall way short on all this, by the way, folks. I fall way short of my stepdad on it. But you know, this is not going to be an emotional chat or anything else, okay, folks? This just talking about my feelings, okay? When I got kicked out of high school, it was my dad that coached me on through life and got me to working. I mean, I could have been that good for nothing, worthless kid that got kicked out of high school and turned to drugs and just turned their life into nothing. Which some people would say that I've turned my life into nothing. I like my life as it is. But my dad coached me, took me to work with him, started me out working as labor, and I'd been out of the construction field my whole life, working on out there for free as a kid. You know, do a little cleanup here, a little cleanup there, and the way I'd make my money is I'd run over to the side of the soda pop machine, drop my quarter on in, buy a bunch of sodas, and come on back and sell them to the other construction workers, and I'd make myself, maybe 50 to 75 cents a day doing that. But when I was kicked out of school, my dad said, son, you're going to work. You ain't going to sit on your lazy ass at home and watch TV. We didn't have a TV. That's probably the wrong answer back then. My parents didn't believe in having a TV in the house until after we got on out. Until us kids grew up and was out of there. But my dad was like, you know what, son? You're going to be productive. You're going to do something. And he made me go to work. And I'll have to admit, I was tossed and torn between wanting to go to work and wanting to stay at home and be lazy. The romance of going out and earning a paycheck was enticing. Working in construction in 90 and 100 degree weather wasn't so enticing. I'd been out there in that. And it wasn't so enticing being on out there in the rain and the snow, freezing rain and snow. I'd been in that too. But my dad taught me, my stepdad taught me what it was to be a man. You do a man's job because that's what's required of him. You get her done. My dad also showed me how to treat a lady, my mom. Now, I have to admit, I'm not the best husband on out there. I fall way short of being a good husband. We ain't going to get into my downfalls as being a husband. They just don't belong on the channel, but I'm out here to say that, hey, I'm not a great husband. My wife will vouch for that. But he's taught me how to try my best. And sometimes I do err and I do things to just piss my wife off on purpose. And I ain't saying that's right, I'm just saying that's who I am. I never seen my dad do that. Not ever once did my dad ever do anything to piss off my mom on purpose. Well, I'm not saying that he didn't ever piss her off. I'm not saying that at all. But in our house, growing up as a child, my mom was my dad's queen. And he didn't care if you were her real child or stepchild. You did not treat my mom with disrespect, period, or you was going to have to answer to him. I told about that story earlier, how I pissed off my dad with my mom. He thought I was disrespecting her, and that was just something you don't do. So I'm not going to tell that story here. I might, find the story and listen to the descriptions. I might not. Depends on if I feel like looking it up. But the thing is that I really want to do is give tribute to stepdads that were there for us, even though they made their mistakes. I'm fortunate. Quite honestly, I got to say, I had a perfect stepdad. If there was ever to be a perfect stepdad, I had him. Not everybody's been fortunate enough to have a perfect stepdad. But a lot of y'all out there were fortunate enough to have a stepdad that cared. Maybe he didn't know the best way to show how he cared, but he still cared. I like hearing good stepdad stories. Yeah, I can tell you all sorts of stories that I pulled on my stepdad. A lot of fun, and he took it in fun. I think he enjoyed it when I fooled him with the horseradish, or when I fooled him with a glass of pickle juice and lemonade all mixed together, because he was wanting lemonade, so I had a bunch of pickle juice added to it. I could go on and on pranks that I pulled on my stepdad, and he loved it. If your stepdad is still around, be sure to tell him thank you. Maybe he wasn't the perfect stepdad, but let him know that you appreciate that he tried. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, y'all come back now here. Now, if the women can't find you handy, or they can't find you good looking like me, just pray that they find you. And that's all I got to say about that. Y'all come back now. You hear?